Miller Lite was the category creator. It's a light beer brewed to have that kind of classic Pilsner taste, but with a product that's less filling. And it stopped kind of communicating over the years. And with the original packaging, it just didn't deliver on that original promise. So rather than celebrating the kind of authenticity and the originality of the product itself, they kind of lost their way. And for this reason, that was a good opportunity to kind of re-educate and remind people that this is still a great beer. I think the key for us with this project was the original 1970s heritage can. And this really formed the basis for the whole visual identity. It stands for, and it reminds people that, this is the original light Pilsner. It's a great American iconic product with great brewing credentials, and also an innovator within the beer market itself, which is quite special. With the can itself, we wanted to try and keep the architecture and the essence of the original and everything that was great about it, but update the elements to fit the 21st century. So with the Germanic typography, we wanted to make it feel more cohesive and more legible, but try and keep that kind of unmistakable forms of the 1970s original Germanic type. The beer crest itself, we wanted to kind of update and modernise and re-illustrate and recraft the type within that, and also we added a kind of level of ownability through the addition of the M through the Miller script. Stemming from this can, as we saw this was kind of core to the whole project, we realised that there was a need for more elements, which was the introduction of our iconic wallpaper, the monogram, the illustration style and the typography, all of which are absolute necessities for taking a brand that stemmed from the original heritage can and taking that into the 21st century. It's always great that we have two offices, London and San Francisco, of course, that we can bounce ideas off each other, and it works both ways, and we can make sure that we do safety checks just to make sure that we're on brand and that we're in keeping, especially with such an iconic American brand that means a lot to many people in that design studio and also their fathers when it came around originally in the 1970s. So yeah, working together really works well. We work with an illustrator that we use quite a lot within the studio, and we wanted to develop a style, with his input as well, where we use kind of light to define the shapes and the depth of the subjects that we're talking about. And I think this has become quite unmistakable within the light lager category. I think illustration to Miller Lite feels very appropriate. It's very kind of simple and raw, and it's something that nobody else is doing. And I think for that, we're starting to kind of lead the way again creatively and start to act as more of a kind of iconic brand rather than follow the path of others. With the limited edition and the Alliance packaging that we do, there was a lot of development at the very start of this brief, and we found that what was key was taking our redesigned beer credentials, in the NASCAR case such as the beer crest, and seeing the kind of similarities between the racetrack in our beer crest and the racetrack of NASCAR. And for that reason, we can then use it to kind of form the banking on the NASCAR track. And then with the ice hockey, it was a very similar principle in that it forms a kind of graphic on the ice hockey rink. And it can also capture that kind of dynamism and energy of a slap shot, which is quite iconic in the sport of ice hockey. So I think we always try, with any brand, is try and capture what's fantastic and the essence of that sport or subject, but try and do that in kind of an ownable Miller Lite style. And that even translates all the way through to our kind of seasons card from last year, which was the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's been fantastic, actually. The facts and figures have shown a very steady increase since the new packaging has came out. And social media-wise, people are constantly interacting and also using our assets in a kind of very interesting and creative way. And I think that's something we get a lot of reward and excitement from, that if we kind of do the core of a project, and also in this case show how it acts creatively with the special editions and limited editions, that people take our elements and they're inspired by the work we do, and they go off and they create something fantastic. I think that's far more exciting than just asking people to follow guidelines.